watching Inside Speed from Mount Panorama at Bathurst in Australia. Hi, I'm Ali Drower, and if there's any category that we can all relate to, it is production car racing. And with some limited modifications and a control tyre, it's pretty even Stevens out there, and they really enjoy tearing up the mountain. Okay, let's go straight to it. The GTP Showroom Showdown with thanks to Falcon Tyres.
Well, Ali, it's great to be here in drought-stricken Mount Panorama. Rick Shaw on pole position with James Parrish in the car as well. Bob Pearson on row 2. It's John Falk, Anton Metchler, Don Pulver, Peter Floyd. There's Salmon Park entry and Bob Hughes out of position 8.
Out of position 9, Barry Morecambe and Graham Alexander. Then Jim McNulty and Dean Wanless. Position 11, Dennis Gilbert and his son Glenn Gilbert. Then Steve Knight and Charlie Kovacs out of 12. Paul Metallo and Dale Breed out of 13.
Alajarjan out of 17. Ryan and Craig out of 18th. Caparo and Milan out of 19th. Then we go to Gardner and Piazza. Giannis Derham's in the mix as well. Booker and Ronaldo. Francois Joy and Richard Love.
Brendan Cook out of position number 25. The Conroys out of 26. Rick Bates and Leanne Ferrier, position 27. The Russells out of 28. Nick Lucas and Jam Lay Mahalil from position 29. David Borg and Salvatore Astuti from 30. And Lee Clinic and Colin Coles rounding out the field.
2 hours, Mount Panorama. Rain is falling. This could be a long race, or it could be a very, very short one. We don't know. Safety car is out on the circuit, leading them around to the start-finish line. Very, very ordinary conditions at Mount Panorama at the moment. At the top of the mountain, you'll see in a few moments' time, visibility is markedly reduced as Wayne Russell joins us in commentary. Wayne, you've won here in a variety of categories in motorsport before. How difficult is it under these sorts of conditions?
Well, absolutely atrocious when you're going up mountain straight, when you've got this many cars behind each other. When you're at race pace, you actually can't see the car in front of you. All you can see is just a very, very faint glow of the taillights or the rain light. And you're actually looking to the right-hand side as you go up mountain straight and watch the white line. And this is all at 180, 190 kilometres an hour. You're looking at the right-hand side with the white line to try and make sure your car is still actually going straight. It's that.
50 of John Falk, car number 87. Team GT are looking for a good result. He's starting off position number 3.
Jimmy, I'll tell you soon.
Plenty of horsepower going to the rear wheels there too. So Falky's looking for a smooth start out of him. It's going to be good.
Oh,
let's see what happens. Safety car pulls off to the pit lane as we listen to Gary Dean's radio. The first of the cars, the Shaw car, comes up onto the start-finish line sideways. We are away and racing in the 2-hour Showroom Showdown at Mount Panorama. A huge field out on the circuit. Treacherous conditions. Let's see how it pans out.
Anton Meckler in the first of the all-wheel drives, right behind John Falk, tucking in behind for the first turn, looking to make some early ground because the all-wheel drives are going to have some kind of advantage. Don Pulver right behind him. It was so close to him last year, just missed out towards the end. He's looking to make it one better.
There's Rick Shaw, your race leader. I watched him out at Oran Park a few weeks ago in the wet. He was very, very quick there. He's a brave man, and you can see that. He's already pulled out a huge gap on Bob Pearson. There he is in second spot. Then a long way back to John Falk. Now looks like Anton Metchler coming under a bit of fire. Peter Floyd having a run on him.
Yes, up to Minolta Conica straight, a curve once again. Peter Floyd does get around Anton Meckler, and right behind them, the Subaru, the first of the Subarus for Grant Park there. So look for a good one from that young man.
Play of Kurt Peters' car being tagged down in turn 1, so they all didn't make it through the first turn. Car number 16 having a huge moment, and unfortunately Kurt Peter is understeering off the course. He's got some steering problems with that car. He was driving Rick Shaw and Parrish leading the way at the moment. Shaw in the car at the moment. Pearson in second, Floyd, then Falk. Then we go back to Salmon, Metchler, Hughes and Knight in 8th spot.
Yes, I actually favour Steve Knight and Charlie Kovacs. Out of position 9, Don Pulver, 10th, Barry Morecambe and Graham Alexander in the car at the moment. Jim McNulty in 11th, Matolo in 12th, Ryan and Craig 13th, Ian Luff and Loadsman is 14th, Chris Alajarjan in 15th position, and then Caparo Milan in 16th.
Well, there's your tip for the race. Giannis Derham's in 17th, and Francois Joy in 18th, Rocco Ronaldo in 19th. Then we go back to Mahalil in 20th spot, Russell in 21st, Leanne Ferrier driving the Rick Bates Daihatsu Sirion in 22nd, Conroy in 23rd, and Astuti in 24th.
Out of position 25, Samadhi Cook is in 26, Gardner and Piazza in 27, then Michael Sainsbury's car and Kurt Peter not positioning anymore.
Sand trap.
Or in pit lane, yeah. Exactly. So Pete will be on charge, and he's a very entertaining driver. Of course, he's also running in the Formula Green 24 hours, so he's already had a bit of track time today in the warm-up sessions, and he's very keen to win this one, because a couple of years ago he did actually have the win, but after a bit of officialdom and things went on, it was decided not to be, so he wants to get it back and stand on that podium this afternoon. So he's
finds herself without a drive at the moment, which is disappointing, because she is one of the best female drivers. 1 hour and 10 minutes left to go. Rick Shaw leading the way over Bob Pearson, Rod Salmon, Peter Floyd, Steve Knight, Bob Hughes, John Falk and Anton Metchler in 8th spot.
in 9th, it's Graham Alexander, Ryan in 10th, Capraro in 11th, Alajajan in position number 12, then the first of our Mirages, Rocco Ronaldo in 13th, Scott Losman 14th, Francois Joy in 15th.
Yeah, then we go back to Giannis Derhams. Mahalil in 18th position, Astudi, Cook, Conroy, Matolo and Sam Astudi. A compulsory pit stop at the moment. That's the view from the helicopter. A lot of cloud coming in over the top of the mountain, and that's what it looks like from a driver's perspective.
And that's not a lot of fun, I can tell you. I've been in that situation a few times with V8 supercars and production cars, and it is not very pretty going across the top of the mountain. And what we call that is a whiteout, because you can't actually see anything. Everything just goes white. So it gets very, very difficult driving conditions.
Race control will be certainly keeping an eye on that, because it's one of the things they do look at Mount Panorama. Every time we have a race, they check out the vision on top of the hill, and if the fog does descend any lower, then they'll be doing something about it. As long as we can maintain visual contact between flag points, it should be okay. But as we've seen this morning, the fog came in heavier after we started this morning. So anything could happen, but that's the beauty of Mount Panorama, and that's why we love it.
It just throws everything at you, Grant.
Well, the great thing is, once the safety car switches off the lights and comes into pit lane, then the pit lane will be open. Those drivers that come in, those drivers can now come in and do their compulsory pit stop, and it's going to be absolutely frenetic activity down there in pit lane as those that are doing driver changes do so. And Ali Drower, you're going to be pretty busy tonight. Rob Hughes, John Falk in 7th spot. 8th is Anton Meckler. Then we go to Graham Alexander in 9th, and Ryan rounds out the top 10.
So can Bob Pearson do anything about this restart, or will Rick Shaw be able to skip away once again? Interesting to notice there in the line, Peter Floyd right behind him, Steve Knight. I think it would take you 2 hands to count how many times those guys have had little comings together over the past 2 seasons. They always seem to be side by side with something happen. It's never intentional, of course. It's always just part of the way the races pan out, because GT performance has been so competitive all season long, and every race has been a hard charge right to the end. And apart from the weather conditions, I don't think this is really much different in the minds of the drivers.
We're hearing information that the stewards are looking very, very closely at that incident between Rick Shaw and Leanne Ferrier. We'll wait to see what transpires, comes to pass as a result of that. Rick Shaw, our race leader at this stage, over Bob Pearson, and the stewards looking very, very closely at what they're going to do after the coming together over the top of Holden Skyline.
I would
Remind you about them every couple of minutes.
I've got no doubt.
Yeah, well, still a bit of bad luck for Rick Bates and Leanne Ferrier.
Good news is the cloud has started to lift across the top of the mountain. The visibility is a little bit better. There's rivers of water travelling across the circuit. All of a sudden you hit at the car aquaplanes, and momentarily you're out of control.
You know, the other interesting part here, which I find quite interesting, it stopped raining. Okay, you can see everyone walking around now at the moment, so it has actually stopped raining. Now, this is a little scenario I'll throw at you guys. The Class C cars and that are on controlled tyres, which are treaded tyres, so they can't run wets or anything like that. The GT Performance cars are on slicks and wets, so if the track dries out, they've got to come back in and do an extra pit stop and change to slick tyres. So therefore, that gives the Class C cars a chance to actually catch, and if there's pace cars out, they're going to come out much better off.
We'll take a look at your screens at the moment. The weather is starting to come back in again. That's the way it looks coming down Conrod Straight. We have 15 laps completed of the 2-hour Showroom Showdown. We are behind the safety car. Rick Shaw leading the way over Bob Pearson and Rod Salmon in Class A.
Of the Janlay Mahalil, the Prince all the way from Malaysia. His teammate, the Russell boys, keep the backing. No. But actually, the Prince is a very nice fella. He's really fitted him well, and he loves being here in Australia. As the safety car pulls off into pit lane, we're about set for a restart. Rickshaw already looking to open up a gap, but Bob Pearson is closing up. He doesn't want to lose it again. He's having another go. Here we go.
Oh, underway we are, but there's a bit of a problem. Concertina problem coming up on the main straight. Everyone slowed down. There was nearly an altercation between cars. I think they actually touched here and there.
Yeah, Bob Hughes caught up in that battle as well as we watch him come under brakes up into Shell Turn. He's been able to get past one of the Mirages.
Did you see Floydie then get all crossed up and almost lost the car? Wow.
Likewise, Bob Hughes did the same, but Steve Knight managed to keep it nice and clean, and he's staying in front of those guys at the moment. In fact, Steve Knight's still behind Pete Floyd and having a bit of a go here.
42, a 7-1, this time past the start-finish line. He will receive a black flag for that incident that happened at the top of the mountain with Leanne Ferrier. Black flag on display for Rickshaw, our race leader.
That really makes things interesting because Rod Sam, Floyd, Knight, Hughes.
Result there in Group 2, Ronaldo leading the Mirage class over Francois Joy, Sam Astudi, Brendan Cook, Giannis Derhams and Ash Samati in 19th spot outright, but you can see currently sitting 6th in Group 2, the Mirage class.
This is what makes it interesting, all these different classes.
We look class-wise here. May start to go on another run. Hopefully this time around, the safety car, which you can see on screen at the moment, will switch out the lights and we'll be back under race conditions.
Guys, I've got to say, I picked up Rickshaw in 4th position earlier when the safety car came out. Now, he was in 4th. I'm trying to work out who we just lost. Someone has come in and done a pit stop. Knight. But he did a pit stop during a yellow, so that doesn't...
No, he could, as we took you through it as it happened.
Sorry.
He got in just before the safety car came out.
Absolutely
That's our
ready for you,
understanding
Rick.
of it anyway.
Right. I wasn't sure whether he did or not.
Yeah, he came in, and as he was entering into pit lane, the safety car was dispatched from the exit, so he made it just in the nick of time.
This could be...
We think...
Okay, we'll have to wait for clarification.
Maybe, yeah.
But if that's the case, and he's done his pit stop, the other guys haven't, Knight's in a great position. He's in an absolutely fantastic position.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, that will really open it up. Knight could be in the box seat here, and Pearson as well could be in the box seat.
Who suggested Steve Knight might win? Oh, that was me.
And who suggested Bob Pearson?
Bragger.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah.
Both braggers.
Oh, well, we tried all season. We've got to get it right before it's all over.
Keep a close eye on car number 35 to see what it does when the restart does the race does get back underway. The safety car making its way down Conrod Straight at the moment. Making its way down towards the chase. The field nice and tightly bunched up behind it. They're assuming, and there's the confirmation. Lights out on the safety car. We're about to go back under race conditions for the final leg, we hope, of the 2-hour Showroom Showdown. A multitude of cars, a multitude of different makes, models and designs, therefore, of cars out on the circuit. Who's going to walk away with the 2003 honours?
And I've got to say, a multitude of strategies. There's all different things happening in this race when you start looking back between the scenes and what's been going on, Warren. It's been very interesting so far.
Yeah, and the two fellas that are in front of Rickshaw at the moment, that is Bob Hughes and Peter Floyd, are both driving this race by themselves, so they'll still have to come in and do their wheel change, whereas Rickshaw has to have, well, perhaps, don't quite be here, a driver change. So once those two fellas are out of his way, he does have a clear track, but he still has to do the change as well. And I think he'll be keeping a very, very close eye on when Pete Floyd's heading in.
Safety car down through the chase at the moment. This time round it will peel off into the pits. Floyd is your race leader over Bob Hughes, and Rickshaw sitting there in 3rd spot. Let's see what happens. We're about to go racing again. Safety car about to turn left. It does so now. Now look, Hughes has come into the pits. Shaw has come into the pits. Also Alexander behind as Wanless. He stayed out on the circuit. Peter Floyd is your race leader. He is the first guy to see the green flag. The pits are about to get very, very busy.
Oh, this is so much fun. Have a go with who's come in and who's doing what, because this is going to cost these guys, and who's in the...
Peter Floyd, your race leader, making his way back up the mountain, the track drying out, and look at the battle behind with the Mirage class. They are all in amongst each other at the moment, and right in amongst the race leaders as well.
Oh, look at this. This is so much fun.
Just watching Chris Alajarjan heading up towards the cutting there. Steve Knight going through the shot as well. So Steve Knight has the young man in the little 323 BMW in front of him. And look out, Rod Salmon on the move there on the inside. Plenty of traffic heading up to the Donut King cutting. Bob Pearson's also involved in there. And right behind him, it is the Prince himself in car 67, one of the Protons. The Russell boys, I think it is.
I'm trying to see where Kovacs, Knight and Kovacs are, and Bob Pearson's behind them. So I think, but not too far far down the track, but Knight, Kovacs and Pearson will end up in front.
Just watch this action. This is incredible. It's a matter of Bob Pearson finding a gap, putting the nose of the car in and closing his eyes, weaving his way through the traffic at the top of the mountains. Rod Salmon doing exactly the same thing, well, holding his breath at least.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd be closing my eyes. I wouldn't want to watch what's going to happen. Those two working very, very hard getting past the Mirage class. This is what motorsport's all about.
Oh, look at these two guys, nose to tail, nothing in it. You throw a cigarette paper between those two guys.
Yeah, Brendan Cook coming under pressure from the Proton Sartori in the back of shot there. Plenty of action. Bob Pearson wraps up another one, so he's on the charge as one of the Russell boys. I think it's Dave Russell looking for a way around Brendan Cook in car 41. He's weaving from side to side, takes the inside line down through Falcon Tyres Forest Elbow.
Says, thank you very much, and I'll take that position.
Unfortunately for Brendan Cook, he's lost one position. Let's go down to Ali Drower in the pits.
Well, amongst all of this mayhem in the plane with that current rush of changeovers, we've got Dean Lilly, the #1 man for Peter Floyd Motorsport here. Now, Dean, you guys are looking a little bit too cool with the boss out there. How much lead are you hoping to achieve?
As much as we can in the next half a dozen or so laps. Here he comes again. It's got a pretty good gap already. We figured at the moment Bob Pearson's our main competition, and he was back in 12th after the safety car. Hopefully he gets caught up in a bit of traffic.
Cross your fingers.
Cross everything.
And the other thing too is that Floyd is the solo driver, so you've just got to change that reel.
Yeah, we've been timing the other pit stops. A lot of them have taken over a minute with driver changes. Last night we were doing it in about 40 seconds, so that should get us a bit as well.
All right, we'll see what it takes. Thanks, Dean.
Thanks, Alan.
Just saw a shot of car number 41, Brendan Cook's car, the Cutaway Hill Estate Winery, having a moment down there in the chase, getting out into no man's land. The New South Wales driver, Brendan Cook, racing around in the Mirage Series right throughout the year and coming to grief here at the mountain.
And I might add, guys, our stats man has just pointed something out which is very, very interesting as well. Here we have a replay down here. Cars going off all over the place.
Ooh.
Oh, look at the water and the spray coming off that. They've all come in a little bit too hot. They've got their ambitions a little bit high there. The speeds through that corner coming off the end of the straight, Conrad Straight.
Yeah, well, there you can see it on the Hancock side on Bob Pearson. This is where he's strong.
Here comes your race call once again, ladies and gentlemen. Pearson, Park, Falk, Craig, Floyd, Parrish, Wanless and Kovacs rounding out your top 8 at the moment.
And Craig in position number 4, car 30. That's the Ford Falcon BA XR6 Turbo. Is a production car, therefore running on controlled tyres, so will not be having an issue with tyres, whereas these guys in the front at the moment really do have, including John Falk.
Side by side, the battle for the race lead. Pearson on the inside as they head towards the Caltex chase. Lap traffic coming into play. Park.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to use those back tyres up while it's with private. I don't want you to use yours up, so just stick your nose up and, be careful, mate. Just rub it showing a bit. Yeah, I'm driving up on it everywhere and I'm still quicker than him.
That's great.
All we've got to be careful when we play this game is when we do make a that's super, up there.
No,
Up here now, so it's good for these tyres.
no, I'm happy now. It's raining. Yeah, good on you. Grant Park talking, as you've heard right throughout this race, with the team boss, Scott Anderson, down in the pits, and he's being told you're going to have to do here at Mount Panorama, 2 hours, 36 laps, and your victor is Rod Salmon and Grant Park. Pearson in second spot, Falk in third. Then we go back to Peter Floyd. Craig hanging on to be the first of our C-Class cars home. Parrish, Kovacs and Wanless. We certainly hope you've enjoyed the action.